I have a question for you. Do you think that coaches and players have the right in a public forum to question the officials that are officiating the games that they're playing in and coaching in? We just saw where Stephanie White of the Fever was fined for questioning the horrible officiating that is going on in the WNBA. And it is. It's horrible officiating. It's not just the Fever. If you're playing against the New York Liberty, hey, you're probably going to lose because you're going to start all of a sudden getting ghost fouls played against you. You saw where that was happening when the Liberty just played. I mean, seriously, Liberty beat the Golden State Valkyries, but it wasn't because of how good the Liberty were in that game. No, it was because of how many phantom fouls happened in the game. Seriously, and you just watch it. Or what about the NCAA stuff? I mean, you take a look at any game that you're playing against Alabama, you take a look at so many of these bad calls, but in the NCAA, you can't question the officials. So let's talk about this a little bit here.
Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
Now, I could bring out all kinds of examples, but it gets to the point where you're sitting there going, "What in the world am I watching?" I mean, seriously, that's what it becomes. If you watched the Liberty versus the Golden State Valkyries, you can't find the fouls that were called. You take a look and you really can't find the fouls that the refs were calling. But because the Liberty were down, all of a sudden you started getting these calls. And I'm not the only one that noticed this. Or you take a look at when you're playing certain teams in college football. In college football, certain teams, all of a sudden, you start getting a group of calls to start slowing down an offense, or you get calls that are helping a team that should be winning. Last year, during the Tennessee Georgia game, Georgia was, hey, I'm a Tennessee homer. Born and raised in Tennessee. I might live in Virginia right now, but I was born and raised in Tennessee. I will die a University of Tennessee volunteer fan. I will always wear orange and white. I am not saying that they could have beaten Georgia last year. I'm saying it could have happened, but not last year. Seriously, I don't think that they could have beaten the Georgia Bulldogs last year. But one of the scoring drives that Georgia had, and Georgia had the game locked up, they would have been able to beat my balls by at least a touchdown. But one of the drives, watching that, it was quite literally being driven by the refs. And I love me some college football. And I love me some SEC football. But that game annoyed the living daylights out of me. You can go back to my video and you will see that afterwards I said that they scored, it was like 3 touchdowns, and then the refs scored a touchdown. It still would have been even without the refs doing what they did, so it makes me wonder what were they betting on. Because you take a look at the NBA had that problem. I think his name was Donahue or something like that. You take a look at there were definitely cases where there were refs because they ended up going to jail over it that we're doing this. So is this what needs to happen? Do we need to start investigating these officials in WNBA, the NCAA football, and all these other sports? I mean, seriously, do we? This is what I'm asking for you. Don't get me wrong. On occasion, there will be mistakes. It happens. I am not saying that there won't be little mistakes that, you're like, okay, fine, a little mistake. But this isn't little mistakes. There are quite literally glaring examples of this throughout all of these sports. It's a tough job to have, I'm well aware. There are all kinds of times, but we need to set this up. Like, say, the NCAA. The NCAA needs to take over officiating. They could have done this already, but here's the problem. These are part-time employees that are given a little bit of training and they're ran by the conferences. So the NCAA, even though they are supposed to set the rules, instead they don't. WNBA, they just train their officials just this past off season. Okay, basically fall, winter, and spring. They trained these officials. They brought in people to train these officials, and they're still just horrible. So what are we supposed to do? It turns off fans who are watching this. And I mean, some of these examples of horrible officiating is coming at a time that for the WNBA, this is bad for the WNBA because new fans are going, "What in the world?" And then they're listening to people that know what they're talking about, and they're even more confused as to why this bad officiating happens because you already have boring games, 5 minutes of no scoring, and you've got fans who are new to the game being called racist because you may have come because of one particular athlete. And then throw on top of that that you have horrible officiating that makes it even worse. So, but it's not just the WNBA. It's just that the WNBA is just yet another example of where bad officials are making things worse. So, what do you think? Seriously, what do you think? I want to hear your opinion. This has been Paul with Redneck Sports. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. So, folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now. Bye.